Hello, my name is Joseph Pirayou. I want to welcome you to our today's program. In the beginning, Ashur, as always, if you have any questions, comments, they would appreciate if you send it, and I will cover during the live program. If not, get back to you during question and answer programs that we normally do when we have many questions and comments. I don't know how many of you know today the Armenians, they commemorate, I think is the right word, the genocide of 1915. And it's just the timing is interesting because the title of the program of today is When the Identity is Attacked, the Attack with the Identity. And as you can see, one of the things that part of the identity is there is these I guess you can say photos or flyers that people come up with. They put them on Facebook and they are shared. And this one here, as you can see, is like Turkey is guilty, over 3.5 million people massacred. And there are three different ethnicities, Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks are mentioned here with the estimated number of people that were perished, killed. So like our New Year's, what is the day that we commemorate? Is it now April 24th with our Armenian brothers and sisters, or is it August 7th? Because when August 7th comes, I have seen flyers that let's show this one that I found on website. Can we see that one? August 7th. Yeah. So that's in writing in Ashuri, Shovab Dabbach, August 7th, Assyrian Martyrs' Day. Uh, Another name that we have is called Seifo, comes from the word Sepa, which means the sword, 1950, 1915. That's the date. I mean, for us, Ashuri, it goes way back, like in 1800s, that the Kurds, Turks. I mean, we were like easy targets. Something comes up, they don't feel right, boom, attack one of these villages or districts, especially in the Hakkari Mountains in southeast Turkey. Uh, Now, that was one of those obvious ways of attacking an identity by attacking the people, by killing them, displacing them. All of these, yeah, there's that sword, as you can see it. That's really gives you the whole picture. The flag of Turkey with the sword that is the Kurds. Is that right? Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah, that's their. You can't separate those. Uh, I'm not saying all the Kurds are Turks are bad people, but that's what happened to us by the hand of the government and certain tribes that whatever they did to us was very bad. However, some of us have survived, me being one of them. My grandparents from my mother's side went through the genocide. They lost family members, but I'm here. So when I was preparing for the program, then the identity is attack with identity. So I was trying to, just something that came to my mind actually was the last program after the attack that was done to Marmari. And as I mentioned, the thing that happened to me wasn't as shocked as like ticked off. Like, how can you give yourself the right to attack this man? And he's just a man that he talks about, word of God, peace. He's not enticing violence, go kill this, do that, And when this happened, and even though I'm not part of that denomination, he's not my religious leader. He's not my, uh, like, as far as faith goes. However, as I mentioned, he's my brother. Now, when they attack us like that, should we go attack these people themselves or whoever they were? Should we attack Muslims or I don't know. what the background of that kid was, but that's not how it works nowadays, especially in these Western countries. In the Middle East, it's a different thing. When they attack you, you have to protect yourself because if you don't, they just say, hey, you guys are easy prey. But over here, I was thinking about the attack, and it's not just physical attack. There were so many different ways. I was thinking that they can attack us either physically or different ways that, but before I go through that, um, I like to be on the same page, but all of us to be on the same page. What I mean is that when we say identity, what do we mean by identity? So I went to what they call it, dictionary, Webster dictionary. There are like two identities they're talking about. One is a personal identity, and the other one just what identity is. So this is from Webster. It says personal identity. It's a noun or identity noun. The persistent and continuous unity of the individual person, normally attested by continuity of memory with present consciousness. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, it's like big words, but I always like to simplify things for myself. This is how I understand things. But persistent and continuous unity of the individual person, normally attested like witnessed by continuity of memory with present consciousness. One thing that I got from this personal identity explanation is that the memory, continuity of memory with present consciousness. Like right here, I am right now. What is the memory telling me? Memory telling me from what I heard from my mother, from my father, about where they were. My mother was in Urmi, northwest Iran. My father was born in Ukraine because his grandfather had to leave because of the Seifu. So the memory I have is the information that these people shared with me about who they were, what happened to them. Then it comes down to me, and it's the persistent and continuous unity of the individual person. And it's attested by continuity of memory. Now, that was on a personal identity, which I honestly, I was trying to understand reality. Then I remembered that personal identity nowadays is like sometimes I feel like a he, sometimes I feel like a she, like a it. It's like they have pronouns him, them, they, thou, this, that. I don't understand those. So that maybe confuses the identity on a personal level. So I went to see what really, really identity means. And the one that I found that I understood, and I hope it brings the meaning, is identity is the unique set of characteristics that can be used to identify a person as themselves and no one else. Like the genocide that we saw, we have the Armenian, we have the Greeks, and we have the Ashur, right? They killed all of us. Identity here, the unique part is that we are separate from these other two. They could say there was a genocide, they killed all these Christian people, right? That is an identity too, but that doesn't give us the like, okay, Christians. So this way, like in the United States, we have Christians. There are Christians. Not many people in this country claim to be something else. Like we were Christians of Iran, but we were Ashuri, we were not Armenian. Or in Iraq, or these Syria, these other countries. So the unique set of characteristics that can be used to identify a person as themselves and no one else. The first thing that came to my mind is when we had this Akitu, Chabnisan, whatever the thing was. That's another thing about attack I'll get to. It was Ashuri and Babylonian New Year. I was like, why are we bringing Babylon into this picture? From my studies, from my understanding, from the history that I know, can we show that map of Assyria, the Ashur map? There are so many maps out there. This is the one that gives you different timelines as the size of the empire. At the bottom of it, it says, the really dark part is from this year, light part, and even lighter parts, right? And it was unique. It was Ashur, the names of the kings. Uh, they worship Ashur. And who destroyed the Ashur Empire? Let's show the other photo. Because after the Ashur Empire, Babylon comes. At the hand of Medes, that they were united with the Babylonians. They send these Medes to Nineveh. They destroy Nineveh, 612 BC, right? If we are one people, why destroy? Why change the name? Their God that they believed his name was Marduk. So these are the unique set of characteristics that can be used to identify a person as themselves and no one else. So when we say Babylonia, we add that to the name, our name. Believe it or not, we are attacking ourselves. That's a form of attack because we are adding something that is not there. And historically, history tells us there were two separate empires, Ashur, Babylon. They believed in God Ashur, Babylonians believed in Marduk. Totally different. If they were one people, why you kill each other? Why you change the name? Characteristics that can be used to identify unique set of unique. That made us unique. Ashur is unique. Ashur name is unique. Maybe our language was the same with the Babylonian, but our name, our faith at that time was unique. Now, another thing is that, let's say today, April 24th, I'm sure there are many Armenians around the world that they commemorate this day as the day that the Ottoman Turks killed more than 1 million, 1.2, 1.3 million Armenians. I remember when it was 2015, was 100 year. This is what, 9 years ago. LA, you should have seen what happened in LA with the flags and I don't know how many thousands of people, maybe more. It was like a sea of people that they were gathered. But that was for the 100. Like the number, I don't know what is it with our mentality. Like, okay, I don't know about now if we have same numbers gathering. But one thing is that the safe food that applies uniquely to us, personally, I don't know about any demonstration, anything that we are communicating with the outside world of who we are, of what happened to us by Turks and Kurds. When we don't do anything, when we just, I don't know if that's the right date, April 24th, August 7th, I don't know. There are people that I'm sure there are people with the more knowledge how to handle this and that, but Seifu is right on Facebook, Seifu 1915. What are we doing? Because when you don't act indirectly, this is an attack. Because by not acting, we are slowly erasing the memory. As time goes by, if we don't share it with our kids, if we don't share it with our grandkids, because that's how I know what happened to my grandparents from my mother and to my other grandparents that went to Russia from my father. This is how I know. I wasn't there 100 years ago. The longer it takes and the longer We don't show any action, any value. That's the other point that I was thinking about while preparing this program, is that why is it that during this time, everyone thanks? Is that the one in LA? Yeah. Look at that. 100 years. This is a number. What's today? This year would be 109th year. Not as many people. I don't know if there is a demonstration. It has to be done every year. And every year we should have more and more people. Don't you think? Should we wait on the 50th anniversary, 100-year anniversary, or 75th? It's like the year before, 99th year wasn't as important, but 100th year, definitely. We're going to get thousands of people to for the 100th year. But the people who were killed, who were moved from their houses, they were raped. The years that they didn't make any change. 99 years ago it happened, 100 years ago happened, 109 years ago happened. What has changed is what is inside us. Something has changed, especially the ones that are outside of our homeland. Something has changed. This is not the time to blame. It's just explaining or trying to figure out, because I need help to come to this program. If you guys have a program doing something, let me know. I listen to you. But in this TV program, we're trying to come up with action, not just talk. Small as it can be. Can you show that flag? I know it's not in the one I have in front of my house. As small as this act. Anybody passing by, I mean, Father George said keep it for the duration of New Year's. No, it's going to be there all year until it's worn down, and I change it in another flag. Whoever passes by will see that. I don't know if they know what it is. Maybe they go take a photo, check it out, and they get some information. That's another thing. What kind of information we have out there about who we are? I was thinking about, okay, one of the clarifications we can have on the identity, the unique identity we have, is 6,774 years of existence, I guess, because that was the new year, 6774. How many of you know where that number comes from? How many of you trust that number, that is the correct number? See, sometimes we just see something, we like it, we share it, and it becomes, the trend. Oh, Akitu. I don't know what Akitu was. Ninus Aho had a poem about Akitu. Then Walter Aziz made a song about Akitu. Now our New Year is Akitu. Then when I was studying, I found out that Akitu is a place. But people, Akitu. Now we have Akitu table. Like the Persians, they have a table of 7 S's. They decorated with 7 different items, start with the letter S in Farsi. Now we have an Akitu table. So the history, like somebody goes back, checks who the Ashuri are, Assyrian. How would they know? So many different versions we have out there. Are they the correct versions? Who can make sure it's the correct version? So when we go out there, we want to share, because when you are attacked, you attack by sharing who you are, the information, the history, the genocide. This is what happened to us. There is a Holocaust museum. Those the Jewish blood was spilled back then. Was it more important than the Ashuri blood split back even before that? What happened? Oh, they are more stronger than us. They have this, that. We have the Ashur Empire. We had, okay, let me go back to that photo we have with that, what is it? That magazine? No, the other one. I'll get to that too. National Geography. Have you seen this? This is from years back. It was shared. I talked about this in another program a few years back. Now, whoever National Geographic is a very known, famous, what is that word? Trustworthy, whatever information. When people look at this, says history, Persia, the original superpower. The original superpower. When you look at this, what comes to your mind, my fellow Ashuri people? I mean, Persia was an empire that had its own power and everything. The Romans couldn't conquer them, right? The Greeks did, but that's not the point. The original superpower, like whoever first it made it to the front page. So when they have them in the new, this is from years back. So back then, magazines, people still read magazines in the airport, in the bookstores, libraries, everywhere. And it's National Geographic. This is an attack. Maybe the person who did it didn't mean to attack our history, our people. But when somebody sees that Persia, the original superpower, then I start talking about Ashur, yeah, before Persia. It says, no, no, no. National Geographic had that. You guys, maybe you were something, but Persia, that's the original superpower, the identity. When in mid 1850s, they started digging up in North Iraq, by Mosul, all these things. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned that a few programs ago, the person who found Nineveh found it because of the information he found through the Bible, story of Jonah and other stories about the Ashur Empire attacking the Israelites. In that book, it says Europe was on fire. Why? Because until the discoveries that were made by Layard, by can't remember the other name, Rawlinson, when the discoveries were made, up until then, people used to think that Egypt was the cradle of civilization. Egypt was the source of knowledge, or everything that we know, up to now. When the diggings happened, it says, "Oh, wait a minute." It came out, the superpower, the kings, the palaces, the knowledge. I mean, all these major museums in the world carry so much stuff that the ones in British Museum, if all the artifacts and the statues that they have, if they put them in the British Museum, everything else that they have in the museum has to be taken out. From what I've been told, there is so much. And the Ashur Empire was 400 years, destroyed 300 years before Persia became the original superpower. Why would that person think that? Because somehow, somewhere, nobody told him, or he didn't have the information. Or maybe they want to hide it. Don't talk about Ashur. Don't talk about them. That's an attack. How do you retaliate? We do programs like this. We talk, we learn our history and share it. Next time we see that, when you're in the library or somewhere else, when they say, "Oh, Persia," or it says, check your history, check your knowledge. Maybe we should have one of those caps that I had, or the shirts, when we go outside, to identify ourselves as who we are. Maybe that's when people would ask, "Oh, what is that? Who is this? What's the history?" Say, "Oh, let me tell you." But when we talk, we better have the right information. Who will decide for us what the right information is? It's getting more confusing and more like, I want to give up. Forget about this. I have to learn about the history. Well, 67, 74, it's fine. But when they come and say, well, based on this and that date cannot be correct, what are we going to do? Cradle of civilization, knowledge. We have the history, the artifacts. We had one faith when Ashur was the original superpower. Original. Now, we had one faith, and the empire was destroyed 600 years later. Our people became Christian. Okay, Christianity is one faith. The name is one, but so many denominations are out there. And can you show the photo of that guy with that so many flags on his chest? Like, okay, it says Happy Flag Day for all Kurdistan people. I don't have the rest of the information they have. How much history does the Kurds have compared to us? This is not against the people, Kurdish people. I'm just talking general knowledge, facts about different groups. So he has the flag of Kurdistan. I don't know who that guy is. I don't want to know. It's just that the Kurdistan flag, which when I looked at it, looked like Iranian flag because of the colors, but in the middle he has different logo. Then on the right they have three flags: the Assyrian, on the top, middle is Chaldean, and the bottom is Aramean. Now these people, there are names in the Bible about Chaldean, there's Arameans, and of course there's a lot about Assyrians. But when Christianity came, our people at that time, they were all Ashuri or Assyrian. There was nobody claiming to be Chaldean, Aramean. I mean, there is so much history here that these are whatever it is that I don't want to spend time on that. Today is not the reason for that. But the thing is that through faith, leaders chose, for whatever reason, to divide us ethnically. And the enemy, I mean, I'm not saying this guy is enemy, but when they put it there, out there, the three flags says Happy Flag Day for all Kurdistan people. Why is not Happy Flag Day for all Ashuri people? Because the area that is now called Kurdistan is Ashur. Everything you dig in there is Ashur. Somebody told me that the Kurds tell our people over there says, whatever is underneath belongs to you, but whatever is above belongs to us. Different attack. There is that other photo about the civilization, Kurdish civilization. It's right there in English. Kurdistan Mahd al-Hizarat, Landika Shartasiya, whatever. English, it says Kurdistan, cradle of civilization. Now, to me, that is an attack. It's not just misinformation. You look at these Kurds, here they go again, right? And underneath, when you look at the writing that says Hamas Antiquities, it's the walls that they have these, the whatever it's called on the wall, the like a tablet, grapes. If we let this happen and more people see it, our artifacts are going to be called Kurdish. The last point I would like to make is what has happened to us that we don't see the value. Because from what I have happening to me is I've read some information, I have some history to my parents, and it stays here. Then from heart, there is the saying that says, from the heart one believes, from the mouth the confession is made. But it's not just confession, it's action. When you see this, how do you defend that? How do you counterattack the Kurdistan cradle of civilization? I get mad, I get upset, but I don't know how to attack it. All I can do is to do a program right now and ask for you how we can do something that we can communicate with the outside world that we are the cradle of civilization. Who cares? Just let us go live our life. Let us go do, everybody's fighting. We don't know who the Ashuri are. We have Aramaic, we have Chaldean. What's going on here? Why should we even waste our time? I don't know about you, but it's about those who are killed. about those who gave up their life for who they were, about my family that I have lost 3, 4 generations ago, for our people who stood by and did not give up who they are, the name. That's why I'm doing it. That's why Assyria TV is doing this. There's an old saying, there was an old man planting walnuts. It was like in his late 70s, early 80s, and some guy passing by says, "You're planting walnuts. Walnuts takes 15, 20 years to give fruit. You're expecting to live that long." He said in the humorous way, he said, "Daddy or grandpa or whatever, do you expect to take the fruit of this walnut now that you're planting?" He said, "No." He said, "Before us planted so I can eat. I'm planting now so the future that comes after me, they can eat." That's the thing. What are we planting now that the future can continue? That is the question. I would love to hear from you. How can we do this? I have my small opinion. However, more brains together can get more action, more results. And until then, thank you for watching. We finish this with I went blank for a second because I was thinking about my grandfather, that he was telling my mom what had happened. But we finish with "Blessed be Ashur, the work of Creator's hand." Mabqila, thank you and goodbye.
Sheikhani.